and we are gonna be getting ready soon for this third and final game between Team Echo and Team Foxtrot. Team Foxtrot at this point 2-0 in the lead. Team Echo, of course, looking to turn that around and find a win for themselves to not go 3-0, but finding the 2-1. We'll see if they'll be able to do it, and we'll see if Klonky Krijger once again goes for Yone, or if this time they choose to go a different direction.
Well, don't think they're gonna let the Yone through as well as the Lee Sin, who both have had such an impact on the previous games of Foxtrot. But of course, this last game, it's still a game for Echo to prove that they can take it home, that they can win it. This isn't the best of three. This is just 3 games to show what you can do as a player, because of course you want to make it into the next round next week to continue and maybe get that spot within the academy team of Sector 1. At the moment, we've already seen some great play, some great mechanics, and some great macro as well from the team. So the coaches definitely did their best for these games, the preparation and the drafts. I wonder if we're going to see a lot of what we have seen so far again in this last game, or if they're going to throw it overboard and do something totally different. Because at the moment, Jackie really makes sure that they can shine in the game early on. He used to do it with Lee Sin on his own, and last game he really set Klonky up for the gigantic snowball that he was able to do. So maybe if they can hurt Jackie from the start, he's not able to pull his team in the direction that they want to go, and so Echo can pull it out. Fast win.
Yeah, of course, we are expecting to get similar bans once again here. The Kazakh should be banned away. Pantheon, of course, towards Slimy Devil, and so on and so forth. I'm wondering if they are gonna drop the Kaiser ban versus Menikaputs. Of course, they are ahead 2-0, so they don't really have a lot of reasons to change up their bans. However, Menikaputs at this point doing really well on every champion he's been dealt so far. So banning his Kaiser not really mattering that much to him at this point. Wondering if they're going to change up some bans there or not. But it seems they're probably going to stick with the same plan. Never change a winning team, of course. And yeah, expecting just Kazakh's ban, expecting the Pantheon ban. Aside from that, Kaiser probably going to come through again. And maybe even Shen in this third game once again.
Has been a great pick for them so far. We're just missing Fancy Kip at the moment to get started in the last game today. And do you think we'll be able to see the Anivia in this third game? Because it has been banned 2 times before. Of course, had a gigantic buff on the last patch, and we haven't been able to see it in action yet just because they're so scared of it. Of course, Nathal being a huge Anivia fan here, not being allowed to play it. If he could get it through, do you think that would be the thing that they need to win a game against this Foxtrot roster?
Oof. Do they need the Anivia? At this point, Nathal not really being able to show what he can do, I believe. He lost his lane hard last game. On the Syndra, he showed a bit of fanciness, a bit of Mahonix, but not really crazy types of things yet from him. And maybe with the Anivia, he might be on, his favorite or at least his most comfortable pick, which he has been picking up a lot more in the past 24 hours probably since the ban has come through. But I think he's really comfortable on the Anivia, and he might have an easier or a better lane if he can get the Anivia. Of course, Anivia wants to go to that late game, wants to have a couple items, and they're gonna have to find a way to play around the Anivia, as well as the team Foxtrot, who can pretty much punish her due to her not being mobile at all.
And we've seen some things returning game after game, and it is one of those things is Medica Puts and Slimy Devil being able to control their lane early on, really getting that snowball pushing in the first game. Samira being so fat in the second game, Misfortune doubling the CS almost of the Vayne. So I'm really wondering, what does Manica Puts need to absolutely carry the game from start to end? Because the Samira was a good start, but once they collapse on him, it's really hard to come back from that. And you immediately see they do not want to deal with the Swain from Wally from the first game, where he was just able, even though they lost the lane hard early, utilize that CC and that tankiness for their team. So definitely not want to play against that again.
At this point, the Pantheon, there we go, should be coming out. Kha'Zix most likely next, and then possibly, well, the Akali is already gone. Kha'Zix second, and then possibly a Kai'Sa. There's the one. So I'm assuming that they'll go for a Kha'Zix ban third this time round. So Fautomakala
there is the Yone. Sorry, Clonky, not this time.
Clonky's not getting Yone. Last time they decided to not give away the Lee Sin anymore. There's the Kha'Zix ban we talked about, and this time they are gonna take away the Yone. I kind of want to see what they go for here in a first pick. Yeah, nah. This time they don't take away the Shen from Düsseldorf, but it's Düsseldorf himself picking up the Shen, which is something he really likes to play a lot of.
It is a win factor, as we see in this last game. Shen being able to rotate towards the battlefield really fast with that shield, so strong. In games where the macro matters, it's not as strong in solo queue because you do not have the communication, but in games like these, Shen's value shines more than you would in an individual game, just because you have that communication, because you can make that play happen at the right time when it needs to be. And they're going for the Ezreal, which is a fairly safe pick early on. Usually you see those AD carries being picked early, the Ezreal, the Jhin, the Samira, the Misfortune, because they just need to do their thing, survive the laning phase, get the farm, possibly get fed, but usually either of them gets camped. And Manica Puts going for the Vayne, perhaps, want to show real Wally that he can play it as well, and it gets locked in. That is very interesting. Such an early Vayne pick.
Yeah, of course, meaning that the rest of the picks on the side of Team Foxtrot probably not going to be the most tanky champions in the world, as the Vayne, of course, shreds through that rather simply with the Silver Bolts and Kraken Slayer these days. Olaf, that's something I did not expect, and that can go, it's probably going to go to Fautomakala in the jungle. Of course, I guess Shen can jungle and support, it's half and half flexible, but I'm assuming Düsseldorf will be picking up the Shen and Fautomakala on the Olaf.
I know that Slimy Devil isn't the biggest Yuumi player of them all, but a Yuumi would be really nice in this comp. Just being able to sit on the Vayne or the Olaf, definitely in the mid game, and Olaf with Yuumi is so disgusting to play against. So if he would throw the curveball here and not play his typical tanky engage support that he has shown in the last games, and goes with the Yuumi, we might see some very interesting things.
And he's
as well
Jax.
as the I was already saying any very interesting, but turns out it's the Jax, so we have that split push threat. Early will be Shen favored, but later Jax can really take over that lane. And too bad Anivia is not coming through today. We have tried, we've pleaded for this champion, but can't have everything. And Vel'Koz also not coming through, so Clonky being banned left, right, and center. Not gonna play the Vel'Koz, not gonna play the Yone. Of course, he has a really big champion pool. We still have a Kayle, a Galio that he can
Victor's
turn up,
open.
or Assassins. Katarina, Echo, he also plays those, so he has a big champion pool. I wonder what he will use this time around.
Yeah, he has a lot of possibilities here with a Galio and a Victor probably being the top two at this point. However, Galio versus the Vayne, Olaf and Shen,
risky,
not
yeah.
the best pick in the world. So maybe gonna be looking to go for Victor, as Fancy Keep is not allowed to play Thresh this game, leaving him up to... He has a lot of other possibilities, of course, with the... Sure, Bard.
With the Bard?
Yep,
was gonna say Leona, Alistar,
Yep.
something like that, but
I mean,
no.
he likes to play Bard as well, so it's not very unexpected.
It's not uncommon, yeah.
But I was not gonna... I didn't see it coming. Of course, with a Leona, with the Alistar, with a Nautilus, you're picking tanks into a Vayne once again. And with a Bard, you're not doing that. So, not a terrible pick here, of course, taking the Bard. With the Ezreal, pretty pokey lane, and they don't give Klonky Krijger Galio by picking it away themselves here.
And Bard also very nasty against the Vayne because he is so susceptible to poke early on, and Bard he does so much damage with the Meep enhanced auto attacks that Vayne can really struggle against him. And Slimy just going straight at it. I think this is 3 games in a row for him on Leona duty. Just picking it up again, says, you know, boys, I'll just do it. I'll be the engage that we need and the CC. I'll set it up. And he definitely has performed on it so far, but you can only do so much as a support. And turns out, Klonky going for the Echo. It is an assassin pick that he likes, that he plays. Just wondering how much damage he can do on the Galio. I think he will need to clear the waves and roam to the side lanes to make the plays happen.
Yeah, picking up the Echo eventually for Klonky Krijger in the mid lane. Going for a blow up the enemy's champion, of course, with Echo doing so much damage. As we do have a little bit of a lobby remake due to the placeholder in Annie. That has to be Jax, of course. Jax in the top lane versus a Shen. Shen should, as you said, win the early game, but then Jax can start taking over from there. And right, we have a bottom lane of Leona Vayne versus Bard Ezreal. That's something you don't see a lot of.
Well, you don't see a lot of Vayne. However, this is the second time we see her today in the Proving Grounds. Just because definitely the lethality champions like Misfortune, Jhin can dominate her so hard in the lane, as we saw in last game, that she falls behind and really has to struggle to get back into the state where she needs to be in the mid game. But with the new items, with the Kraken Slayer and everything that you want, she does do some decent damage earlier than you would expect, just because she has that attack speed, the extra true damage that she already has. So the value is there. However, this is gonna be a hard team for Medica Puts to play, because so far they already dominated the early game with their bot lane and then fell behind. But what is gonna happen if they're not able to dominate that early game in the lane and they're gonna be on the back foot from the start? Are they going to be able to pick it back up, or is it gonna show that they really struggle when they're behind even more? So that will be an interesting take on this game, how they will cope with that.
Right, of course, we have the Olaf in the jungle, something that we weren't expecting out of Fout Makelaar. Was looking more towards the Amumu, maybe J4, maybe even Lee Sin himself. He has a pretty high mastery on Lee Sin, but does not come through. Something which, by the way, we haven't really touched on is Lee Sin was not banned, but also not picked up by Jackie this game. They did choose to go for Hecarim here to have a bit more of a reliable engage in the Onslaught of Shadows for his team here. And now that both teams have been picked, they are going to get ready to jump into the Rift for this third and final game of the evening between these two teams. Shen, Olaf, Galio, Vayne, Leona going to be battling it out on the Rift versus Jax, Hecarim, Echo, Ezreal, and Bard. Who's got your vote, Joe?
It's so hard to say, because Foxtrot has been playing very dominant the last 2 games. Not overly dominant, but they did show that their macro is really good and their individual skill shines a little bit better in these games than Echo has been able to show. So it's hard to call it out. I do think that the draft from Echo has the potential if they can make sure that the Vayne isn't destroyed in the lane. If they can provide that, then I see them being able to take this game home, but I really can't say that I favor one comp over the other in this case. What about you?
Yeah, if the Vayne can survive the lane and get into the mid to late game with 3 items and more, she is going to be the win condition probably on their side. Of course, they have the Olaf, who's going to jump into the backline, not jump, more run into the backline after Leona jumps in on them. Of course, Leona's not going to have a very easy time picking off targets here, as the Echo can dash out. She doesn't really want to jump on Hecarim or Jax, and Ezreal has his jumpy jump as well. So it's going to be a lot more difficult for the Leona to actually snipe out people with a Solar Flare and follow up on that. And on top of that, Ezreal might even be running Cleanse, something we can't quite see yet, but something that is very possible for him to be running here. Can they stop the Olaf? Is there something they can do about Olaf? Or if Olaf comes online, they're basically screwed?
Well, I think the Olaf is a threat, but not as much as you would think. As I feel like Olaf is a champion that needs to be enabled somewhat by his team with some speed up, shields, whatever you call it. If you have an Orianna mid or a Karma on the bot lane or anything, Olaf gets so much more value because he really becomes this unstoppable Viking that just runs through your team, unable to die and anything. But now he really has to provide everything for himself. He doesn't get shields, he doesn't get movement speed, he has to do it all on himself. So if he isn't ahead, it will be so hard for him to do anything. You have an Ezreal that can jump away, you have a Bard that can make a magical journey to escape, you have an Echo that can ult back. How is he going to get to the target that he wants if there is no one to enable him? He will need someone to CC them for the whole duration, and they do have that in their comp with the Leona, the Galio, the Shen. But it's not going to be easy because he doesn't have anything that empowers him, and that's my fear in the draft that they did here. That's why I said Yuumi would be a good pick here to make sure that Vayne can survive this laning phase poke. It has the heal, but also to get that mid-game power spike takeover when the Olaf is at his strongest point, and where Yuumi can just be that leech on him to give him that boost that he needs to get to the key target. So I wonder how Makelaar is going to do it. I think it's going to be really hard for him to play this champ effectively against the comp that Foxtrot had drafted here. But we'll have to see. Maybe they have some hidden aces up their sleeves.
Yeah, Yuumi could have been interesting. Lulu could have been interesting because of the Vayne-Lulu combination as well. Of course, speeding up the Olaf as well. Thing is, Olaf's going to run into the backline. Gallo's going to ult on top of him, and Shen is delivered as well. So he does have a I'll deliver my team into their backline move, which is really interesting to see if that's actually gonna pay out. On the other side, of course, we have Team Foxtrot, who are gonna have to find the Vayne in these fights, which is not gonna be difficult to get past the Shen, Leona, and Galio, who are gonna be able to peel for her. However, of course, if the Shen and the Galio jump into the backline as well, then they are going to have a tough time defending the Vayne, as both teams spawn here into the Rift for the third and final game of this evening and of this week's Proving Grounds between Echo and Foxtrot. The Wall of China being set up by Team Foxtrot here, and Team Echo looking for a little bit of a cheesy invade maybe.
Yeah, they have a plan. They're gonna hug the wall for the invade. Leona perhaps starting with the Zenith Blade, and of course once you have been tagged by that Tomahawk, it's hard to get away, but of course Wally can start with that Arcane Shift, does respectively so. Not really have to blow anything except for some pushing power early on in the level 1. Not the worst thing in the world. And yeah, I can always respect an invade early on. You know what you can try, you can get a cheeky kill, get ahead, and didn't do it now, but I like it more than two walls staring at each other.
Two walls just looking in each other's eyes. very romantically as the game is kicked off. Minions in the lane, and both junglers once again starting on opposite sides of the map. Hecarim going for the red buff first, as Olaf needs the blue buff right now to, of course, spam his undertow and clear the waves. Sorry, the minion camps.
Fancy keep hiding in the brush, trying to get some poke down. Of course, they do not have any heals or shields in the bot lane, so that poke will stick until Vayne is able to get some lifesteal. But that early game will definitely be in favor of Team Foxtrot. Meanwhile, top lane Mortar has the dodge. Shen also has a dodge ability, so they will be juking each other left, right, and center. But normally, Dusseldorp should have the advantage with that Grasp of the Undying proc, and of course Jax really lacking the defensive stats and the health to trade with the Shen at this point of the game.
Right. Galio at this point being able to push in the Echo right off the bat early in this game, which isn't all that surprising, can push the lane relatively simply with his Q. However, Echo could do the same. Clearly, in the early game, it is Galio favored. Are we expecting the Vayne Leona to go aggressive here in this lane, or are we expecting them to just farm it out and use the Leona later on in the game to find picks with her there?
With Leona, you can always go aggressive. You also have to press the attack on Vayne, so you can do some unexpected burst with her early on. Gonna hold it because Clunky getting downed here.
Clunky is gonna get ganked on, as Jackie is also gonna be part of the fight this time around. They are gonna look for a collapse, as Leona was heading towards Hecarim as well. He's just gonna run away back out and go to base.
They got the flash, so it's definitely worth gank there, putting the pressure on Clunky. Having some problem with clearing the wave, because of course Echo, such an easy wave clear with the Q.
Wow.
Now they might go for him, he's flashed.
Flash from Galio coming through, and Nathal, after the first two games not really finding his mojo, he picks up the first kill of this game. Team Echo leading by 1 kill.
And this is gotta feel good. If you know what Clunky did last game with his Yone to him, he must be smiling behind his ears right now that he was able to pick up that first blood. Maybe he can get some redemption for his victory game. And now, great taunt flash.
Taunt flash onto Mortar, and also the flash from Olaf to pick up the kill in the top lane. Jack's going down there, and now Jackie is going to be in the top lane, going to look for the double kill possibly here. He's going to find the first one, teleport coming through. Jackie continuing the fight. Dusseldorp finding the grasp of the Undying, as Jax is going to be there to maybe pick up a kill, but the damage from Dusseldorp on top of the shield, it's not going to be enough. Jax picking up his first kill of the game as well. A lot of aggression in the top side here.
There was some trades back and forth. Eventually, Nathal being able to pick up the first kill brings them in the lead at the moment, but I was a bit scared for a second for Jackie, because of course Olaf, when he is super low, gets more attack speed, and he was there with 2% HP. I thought he was gonna start smacking him left, right, and center, but able to pick it up just in time before this Olaf goes totally berserk. And that's a very important pickup for him as well, because Hecarim wants those skills early on to get his damage spike. And look at the damage that Dusseldorp can do at the moment. Just 50% of Mortar's HP with one rotation. That's a very scary ninja in the top lane at the moment.
The scary ninja at this point. He has the Bounty Sinner. Of course, got nerfed. He is now 100 gold. More expensive, as Fancy Keep gonna try and get out of this one. Gets bonked up upon, gets taunted, gets ignited, is gonna go down now. Maybe Cloaky Krijger and Hecarim gonna find a return kill, not gonna go for this 2v3, as they find another kill. 4-2 right now for Team Echo.
They're stepping it up, and this is a little bit of a deja vu from the first game where they definitely took the lead in the early game. Not this time on the bottom lane, but in the mid lane, where Nathal is getting some attention, which he definitely deserved. And Vayne not really falling behind, because Fancy Kip is leaving his Ezreal alone. giving Manekaput the time to zone him and farm some for his own, and that's all Vayne wants to do in the lane.
Oof.
Get some CS and a little bit of a poke on the Wally coming out there, so good spot to be in for Vayne at this moment of the game.
Vayne finding her manlyhood in the 2v1 situation. Poking out the Ezreal, using the Condemn to not be traded back onto. As FancyKip is back into this lane here, finding a little bit of poke on Slimy Devil. The first Drake of the game is down already. Went to the team of Echo, taking the Mountain Drake. Next dragon is gonna be a Cloud Soul, meaning we're gonna go for an Infernal or an Ocean Rift, both really strong rifts. Which one? So I kind of want to see an Infernal because we haven't seen it yet. Yeah, that's it basically.
That's the reason. Well, it's
Just
nice to
because we haven't
see
seen it yet.
the Mystic Shot or the X from Olaf with an Infernal boost,
Good
because of
condemn.
course it hurts, and good pin, but sneaky stun from FancyKip, putting Manekaput's in place. Good from him to keep that under control there. And you still see them getting poked in the bottom lane by this duo, but of course Ezreal starting out with the tier, not the biggest skirmish potential there for him, so he also just wants to farm up a little bit. I just fear that if you do not shut the Vayne down at this point, it's gonna be quite hard, and this pin is deadly.
Level 6 on Vayne, not yet on FancyKip though. Oh, both of them come in through True Shot Barrage, doing a lot of damage, but Olaf is there. Level 6, gets the Galio ult, the Shen ult. This is what we talked about. The delivery system is online. Fautomaklar is gonna go down though in the trade, and the flash from Manekaput. The 1 HP, he gets out. That would have been a 2 for 2 trade, and spams the Mastery 7. Of course, you have to be MD.
Nice team play from Team Echo there, getting the dive in the bot lane, taking the lead, making it bigger this game, and this is what we want to see, of course, in the Proving Grounds. How can you play as a team? How can you execute these dives early on, which is always really hard, because you do not have much levels, your health is low, you must juggle the tower a little bit, and only Makelaar dies here. When the Kaputs get out, barely, let's say, but the mastery spam makes it fine. And they pick up some kills, of course. The Vayne support 003 going strong, but it is not bad if you look at, of course, Wally's game last time around with the Vayne, who struggled so heavily to get some CS in the lane early on. So this is looking very good for Team Echo this game.
Team Echo is quite far ahead at this point. 7 kills to 3, 16.5k gold as opposed to 15k gold, 1.5k in their advantage, as not only do they pick up the first Drake of the game, but they also go for the first Herald, which is going to give them that extra bit of pressure on one of the lanes very, very soon here. Which lane are they going to put down the Herald? Joe, what are we thinking?
Manekaput is in trouble because everyone is moving towards the bot lane and is nowhere to go. This is a dead Vayne if I ever saw one.
This should be a dead Vayne. She has no ultimate, she has the Condemn, but that is all there is to it. That's all she wrote. And meanwhile, in the top lane, Dusseldorp, he's taking on this Jax really hard.
And your question has been answered. The Herald is being put down mid as an answer to the dive on the bot lane. Really well played by them. However, are they gonna get picked up here? They're turning it around.
The turnaround from Olaf. He does pop his Ragnarok, which makes him, of course, unstunnable. Finds the kill eventually onto FancyKip. Ditches his team. And now Galio gets taken down. Needs to use his flash popcorns out of there. As Klonky Kragen gonna try to maybe go for the chase. Decides to stop right there and just go for the 1-for-1 trade.
I gotta say, this Jack skin looks amazing. He looks so tanky, but we know he isn't, because he's just building damage. But it looks so sweet to see this big metal man with the rod just pummeling the minions in the face, because the Shen is not gonna be the one who takes the pummeling in this lane at the moment. He is dishing it out, putting the pressure on Mortar, using the dodge field, but can just dash away. So Stun United still available. Plays are ready to be made by this Echo squad. Can definitely collapse again, however. This time Jackie is
Uh-oh.
grouped and trying
Oh.
to do the gank himself.
That is a really good condemn. Now Stan United comes through onto Vayne. She's going to go invisible. Menikaput's going to start free hitting. Gets Galio ulted as well. And Real Wally needs to dash out of there. Had a little screen freeze as Slimy Devil does take down the first kill. Jackie needs to run for his life. Are they going to find the dive here? Doesn't look like they really want any of this anymore. As they start backing off, Shen is going to base. And they find the kill onto Ezreal. And they don't lose a man themselves.
That was really great. We just called it. Stand United is available. He can appear there, and of course you play him with the teleport to get back in lane, not lose too many minions. And it's a one fight by them. Menikaput not dying there to the damage of Jackie Jack, thanks to the soul drop. And them extending their lead again with a good play on the bottom lane. They have 2 Drakes. Next Drake spawning in 5 minutes. It is an Infernal Rift, so our dreams came true. Question is, can they pick it up? Because this is 2 games, 3 games actually, where Team Echo gets the first 2 Drakes, but then it all turns around. Can they finish what they started this time?
Oh, Fancy Keep gonna take the journey, but Olaf was there once again, popping Ragnarok. Now Klonky Kragen has to use his Chrono Shift to get out of there. Echo Ultimate down. And they can start brute forcing this mid lane turret now, as they do find it in the first turret of the game. Shen gets stunned eventually. Mid taunt might find the return kill on Mortar Flashes after the Jax does not find the damage, however, and is not gonna be healthy enough to survive the last windmill sweep from Jackie, who picks up the kill there for himself. 3-2 and 1, already finishing the Trinity Force. Teleport is going to come down. Olaf, you're a bit too deep. Automaklev not going to survive that. Had nowhere to run anymore. And he gets taken down as well.
And they're giving over the kill to Mortar there, just letting him have it. Really, really generous of them. Putting them top laner back in the spot, because of course have been struggling against the Shen in the top lane. And Jackie Jack really knowing his limits there, going in and out against the Olaf, who is actually really strong at this point, not being afraid to trade damage with them. And Slimy flashing over to safety here, didn't want to get caught there, get the full burst of Ezreal on him, because it is surprising how much that can be when he hits all his skill set, and this is dangerous for Ezreal.
Oh, we talked about this. Ezreal has the... Oh, wow! The final auto attack gonna come through. Vayne is not gonna survive the onslaught here, however, because of the Echo who joins the party. Now Fautomaklad is part of this fight as well, though, as he's gonna pop his Ragnarok as well. Does so much damage, can turn this around. Maybe onto Fansky, misses the Undertow, needs 1 or 2 more! As he does find the kill with his Galio, he's gonna find the taunt onto Echo. Double kill for Olaf here. As Natal and Echo are going to battle it out here. Klonky Kragen, what are you going to do? Use the Chrono Shift. A lot of damage coming through. Natal, however, with the return damage is going to be enough. Looks like maybe not yet. They both go so low. Two-shot barrage, not going to come through. And they both survive eventually.
That was so close. And this is a little bit what I said. Makela really strong on the Olaf, but he isn't really getting any boosts from the supports or the team, except for, of course, you do have the Shen shield, but wasn't coming through here. And they not quite managed to cleanly sweep up this fight, even when the AD carry was dead from the bat, because, of course, Menikaput's getting that lost auto through. Think it was a crit as well, because he did have some health left. Needed to be taken out. And yeah. This could have been much worse for Foxtrot, so I call this damage control and a win for them.
They're still only the 1.5k behind, haven't really caught up, but they're not losing harder than they were 5 to 10 minutes ago. So it's still anyone's game, and of course they do have the Jax who should be taking over at some point in time, and the Echo here. The damage coming through already from Mortar, also with the Conqueror stacks, of course. Gonna be a lot more difficult for Düsseldorf.
They're gonna kill him. Third is gone, but he backs up wisely, because
he runs.
That pony smells blood from a mile away, and this ninja is bleeding. You don't want to know.
Yeah, Shen eventually running away, not wanting any of the top lane anymore, as Jack's starting to take over. The farm is basically even. He has his mythic item all done and finished with the Trinity Force. as well as the Hecarim, of course. 2-1-2 Jax, 4-3-4 Hecarim, and 2-1-3 Echo. Yes, Team Echo is winning without Echo. So yes, blue side is sorry. Yes, blue side is winning.
You can let yourself
I'll
out.
let myself out. Blue side is winning at this point um, by the 1.5k difference, which is it's getting uh, the lead is smaller and smaller. Yes, it's still 1.5k, but the game goes on more and more, longer and longer, which makes the 1.5k less and less significant. And with the Jax and the Echo, they can go for a 1-3-1. And who's going to stop the Echo? Jax, I guess Shen, maybe, but Echo, not really a lot you can do about that, I think.
It's hard to say which game has the better late game when you have a Vayne on your team. Of course, Jax, Vayne, both very, very scary once you hit that 5-6 item mark. Shen not gonna be able to keep him down forever. We also see him being able to trade a little bit back now, and he isn't scared to go in because he's got some backup from Fancy Keep.
Yeah, Fancy Keep is there. He does have Tempered Fate. He's not gonna use it, however. Scared that maybe the Olaf would show up. He is close by, but so are Hecarim and Echo. It's a 4v3, 5v1 eventually if they all move top lane now. Not gonna happen as the Herald is popped in the mid lane. They are gonna take down the turret with that as well. And now maybe Ezreal needs to look out in the bottom lane. 4 minutes for the next Drake. Team Echo is on Soul Point, Infernal Soul, as we hoped for. We asked the right gods for Infernal Soul, and they gave it to us, but they're finding the engage onto Echo. He's gonna go down, no chance to ult. Bye-bye, let's get you back to the graveyard and into Gray Screen Simulator.
And this is what I missed, especially in the first game, where Team Echo wasn't starting the picks, wasn't initiating themselves, and here they go again. All else ready.
Wow, the double taunt Onslaught of Shadow being oh no, Olaf! He goes down, gets shut down, and I was gonna say if Bard gets out of this as well, I'll eat my own shoe. And luckily he did not. So thank you, Bard, for giving your life for my shoe.
For my shoe and my stomach, I suppose. The engage comes through, but eventually Fautomakler dies there, just getting... Yeah, you can't win a marathon against a pony. That's something that you need to learn. A Viking is fast, but not as fast as this guy. Can't quite reach him and dies to the third, so a little bit too deep. You see the power of this Echo squad, but they do need the clean execution still, because they're playing against Foxtrot, who have been able to come back from sticky situations before in these last two games. It's not because they have a lead now that Foxtrot is gonna lay over and let them take the Nexus. They are gonna fight till the last moment, and they do have some serious scalers like the Jax and the Ezreal, who can also hurt a lot with the Mystic shots once his items are stacked. So they gotta stay focused and make that clean play. As we said, they have a strong comp. They do have we all press R together on the Olaf and we rain down hell on them. But if that's done and you're not where you want to be, then you also need to abort the mission, let's say.
Yeah, not only do they need to abort the mission, but they're gonna have to retreat really quickly, because that's where the other team can start retaliating, as Jax is gonna get mangled here in the top lane. Flashes onto Menika Puts, but the damage is ridiculous. It gets burst down so quickly as the Jax gets picked up there with a little bit of a free kill, and the turret falls as well.
Yeah, that was no counterplay at all. Mortar looking to Menika Puts, but even with the aggressive flash, that was a little bit optimistic of him to think that he would destroy him from 100 to 0 with one auto attack. Very hard to execute these days. Baron being run down by this Echo squad at the moment. Vayne doing this very fast, but they have to stop because Jackie knows what's up. Is there to threat this play from happening. They do not want to flip it, which is a very wise call. Hecarim being one level above. Fautomakler still has been able to farm up pretty well in the jungle. Of course, can outsmite it in that situation. The last thing you want now is flip an objective like that and throw the game. So, safe play, not bad at this point.
Safe play, not bad. 17 to 11 kills, 30 seconds until the next Drake of the game, and it is going to be a Infernal Soul for Team Echo Blue side here if they do manage to pick this one up. However, of course, Team Foxtrot not going to give it away for free. They already moved there, and Olaf based at 30 seconds till Drake spawn. Gonna come in a little bit late here. However, it might be enough as they do look for the vein. Gonna go really hard to get Stand United on Condemn into the wall. Great tempered fate there.
Wow.
Is this, oh my, the burst, the combination, the ultimates is gonna be enough. Klonky Krager finding the ultimate onto loads of people, not finding the damage. However, Ezreal's still alive. It's a 3v3 at this moment. The damage from Galio, however, finds the stopwatch. It is gonna be enough for him to survive. Taunt onto Bard. He's gonna be picked up, and this should be Infernal Soul for Team Echo, as Echo is the only one on Team Foxtrot surviving that one at this point.
That was the dream combo for Team Foxtrot, and they still lose that fight so hard to win it against this squad. That's just a raw AoE power. And of course the lead at this moment, Nathal being so strong on the Galio, 7-1 in 9. He's had some rough games, past 2 games, but now he's able to bring it back, and a very fast play by Foxtrot teleporting in with top and mid laner to prevent the soul from happening, and they do it. They might get some kills off the back as well.
They take away the soul because Echo decided to base first. They do find the Drake, but now Echo gonna roll over them. Jackie picking up 1 kill for himself to trade it out there. This is a double kill for Galio, and it should be Baron for Team Echo.
They stop the soul, but they're gonna lose the Baron off of this, so not sure if you can call this worth. Of course, you never want to play against an Infernal Soul, so you have to make those choices, and I do still think that that was a good play to move really fast and make sure that they cannot secure that objective. Of course, them using everything on a Drake, not being able to fight anymore after that, especially when the lead is so big. 9 kills on both the jungler and the mid laner of Team Echo. Very hard to compete against, and this Baron is gonna go down, of course, uncontested for Team Echo, and now they have the power to start sieging down those towers, because of course they have still a long way to go to the base of Team Foxtrot, who have been, even though they're not really winning this fight, being able to defend all their structures.
Yeah, they have the Baron to start pushing down lanes with the Baron up minion waves. Of course, the problem is that at this point, well, at any point basically, they don't really have a lot of range. They have 4 melee champions and a Vayne, which is probably the shortest ranged AD carry in the game, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not going to be very easy for them to take down these turrets with the Baron up minions, because of the little bit of wave clear as well on Klonky Krager, who can take it down a little bit at a time. So I'm interested to see how they're gonna actually use this Baron. I'm guessing they're gonna go for a split push situation.
Yeah, and when we think about that fight where they did that huge combo with the Bard ult and the Jax dodge, of course, using Bard ultimate to CC them in place, it helps you a bit to set up for the next stun, but you can't damage them during that stun from Bard, of course, because they are Zonyat. And that means that you basically have to kill them in the stun duration from Jax, and he doesn't have a dodge afterwards anymore. And yeah, you're not gonna do that with the Galio being so strong, the Shen, the Olaf, at this point. So it was a little bit of a bait on themselves at the end. I'm pushing down this bot lane very hard. Maybe trying to get a pick on Nathal here.
Oh, Echo almost finding the stun there. Shen gets cancelled. Had to use his Stand United onto Galio to save his mid laner, but his ult gets cancelled and he is now being chased down by Mortar. The damage from Shen, however, is going to be enough. It looks like it's not from either side going to be enough, as Team Echo now pushing into this bottom side of the map, bottom side of Team Foxtrot's base. They lose the inhibitor turret in bottom, they lose the inhibitor, and of course with these Baron up minions they can still keep going, as Jackson Shen still battling it out in the top lane. It looks like the base is going to be taken as Galio jumps in, uses that Zhonya's. Nathal might be in a lot of trouble here. He jumps out though, with his ultimate, saving his team, jumping back in, finding another knockup,
The
another
shutdown.
taunt. Double kill for Olaf. It's gonna be a shutdown for Ezreal. A triple kill, however, for Olaf. It's an ace, aside from Jax, who is really low, is on the wrong side of the map. And it looks like we're gonna end this series with a
Oh no.
2-1. However, I'm lying because they have no minions.
The mortar was already there, of course, so they couldn't finish it off. Good pickup by Clunky there to kill the Vayne, and Wally just barely being able to pick Nettle. And I must say, even though Foxtrot is losing this game, I'm still impressed on how proactive they are playing, because they see that Echo is pushing the bot wave in with the Baron buff, and what are they saying? Okay, we engage on the Galio mid. Okay, Mortar engage on the Shen top. We're gonna follow it up afterward. They do not manage to get those kills there, but it is a proactive play. They're not just running behind every play that Echo is making here. They're trying to do it themselves, and I can really respect that in a game like this where it's so hard when you're behind to win a team fight to still being able to do those kind of plays. It's yeah, really nice thing to see from this team and these players here. So we'll see if they can make a comeback here. It's super hard. Soul is gonna spawn in 15 seconds, so this will probably be one of the last team fights of the game.
And it is gonna look like an Infernal Soul here for Team Echo. Of course, Team Foxtrot gonna stay close, looking to stop the Soul for the second time around. However, they have extended their lead on the side of Team Echo. As Echo does go in, he's gonna have to ult out immediately. Fancykeep gonna use his ultimate on himself, but it's not gonna be on time. Onslaught of Shadows is gonna be used. Jackie going really low, gets flashed on, and now it's only Mortar in the middle of three people. Survives for a second or two. They find the Galio eventually. Stun from Echo coming through. This is good for Team Foxtrot. Is it though, however? Double kill for Olaf. It is not at all, as it's a triple kill for him. Finds the undertow. Ezreal, used his jump already, and the ace is there for Team Echo. This time around, it should be a game-winning play as they start to push into the base once more with these minions on the bottom side of the map, where the inhibitor has already been taken down. One Nexus turret to go, one Nexus, of course, to go. Bard is up, however. Can he do it?
He doesn't have Tempered Fate available, so don't think he will be able to stall this one out. They fought so valiantly, but eventually Team Echo playing this game really well and making sure that this is not gonna be a trio for Foxtrot, but they're taking the last game home. GG, well played. Team Echo, you really showed that you can take out Team Foxtrot in these proving grounds.
Yes, and they do call out the GGs for everyone at the end of that game. Echo finding a win. Team Echo finding a win eventually for themselves, making it a 2-1 between these two teams. And also very glad that Nathal found his mojo, his juju in the last game on the Galio, picking up a lot of kills, doing a lot of work for his team.
He deserved it, right? After that excruciating game against the Yone from Clunky, he really deserved. He deserved a win.
Absolutely, he did a very good job this game. I'm happy he took home the win with his team there. Deserved win. Eventually, there were some hiccups along the way. There were some times where you thought maybe Foxtrot is going to come back in this game, but actually, overall, they had the lead from the start of the game, never really gave it away, and were able to turn that into the victory with a very strong Olaf, must I say, who, in my opinion, gets the MVP for this game, as that was the last game for us here today again.
Yeah, it's the last game from this proving grounds this week. Be sure to tune in next week on Tuesday, because then we'll continue with 10 less players, of course. They're gonna make 4 teams now instead of 6, who will make